Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Monday, November 18th, 2024 Board of Education meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. We will begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amanda, would you please read the mission statement?
The Orange Elementary School District recognizes that the education of each child is the shared responsibility of every member of our community. Our goal is to inspire and empower each student to achieve academic excellence, embrace social and individual responsibility, and lead with integrity. We believe all individuals should be valued and treated with respect. Together, we will make a difference.
Thank you for that. I'd like to start the meeting with our board member introductions. Mrs. James, would you begin by introducing yourself?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ronette James.
Good evening. My name is Betty Hadlock.
Good evening, I'm Ken Ziman.
Jeff Kapp, Chair of the Board.
Hi, Susan Riccio, Secretary of the Board.
Hi, Tatiana Messina Mullen, Vice Chair of the Board.
Hi, I'm Liz Tremper.
Hi, Anthony Scarinzi.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Zapatka.
Okay, thank you, board members, for that. We're going to move into public participation. I'm assuming we do have some public participation tonight. So if you do, we will go in order one by one up to the podium. Whoever would like to go first. When you do, please state your name and address. And also, there's a book there that you're going to write your name and address in as well. Okay, so whoever would like to go first. Oh, and yes. Go ahead.
Speakers may offer objective comments to the board concerning school operations and programs. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. The board encourages speakers not to express personal complaints or defamatory comments about the Orange Board of Education personnel or any person associated with the Orange Public School System. Comments about security issues, matter related to due process, negotiations, or grievances will not be permitted. Consistent with the principles of the Federal Education Right to Privacy Act, FERPA, discussions about students are prohibited absent a written parent waiver. Public participation does not allow for two-way conversation between the board and the participants. We thank you for expressing your thoughts and opinions. All comments will be taken into consideration. And as a reminder, you have 2 minutes per speaker.
Hello? Okay. My name is Yasmin Kavak. I'm at 291 High Plains Road in Orange, Connecticut. Good evening, honorable members of the Board of Education. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm here with an important request to officially include Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha as recognized school district holidays in the 2025-2026 school calendar. These holidays are deeply meaningful to Muslim families as times of prayer, reflection, and joy within our community. For Muslim families in our district, recognizing Eid on the school calendar would alleviate the difficult decision of choosing between observing their faith and fulfilling educational obligations. It would allow their children to see their cultural traditions are not only recognized but embraced by the broader community. As a parent, I've had the privilege of sharing the significance of Eid with my children's classrooms, where students respond with curiosity and respect. These conversations are meaningful in building understanding and fostering friendships across cultures. By formally recognizing Eid, we provide a chance to educate, connect, enrich the relationship that binds us together. Nearby districts such as New Haven, West Haven, Bridgeport, Trumbull, Fairfield, and others have already made this move, sending a clear message of inclusion and support. I believe Orange is ready to join them, reinforcing that the traditions of all families are valued here. In closing, this is more than adding dates to a calendar. It's about creating a community where every student feels seen, heard, and respected. I look forward to collaborating with the board to make this vision a reality for our district. Thank you for your time, dedication of the well-being of all families and students.
Would anyone else like to make a comment?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Kizilcik, 839 Robert Street Extension. I would like to thank all who are involved in this advocacy effort, especially many thanks to our friend Yasmin, who is the pioneer in this effort. I have two sons. I moved to Orange in 2018 and has been living in this beautiful town since then. I have two sons, 4 years and 9 years old. 4 years goes to MLT Pre-K at this very building, and 9 years old at Turkey Hill School, 4th grade. They both expressed their feelings on the topic by submitting letters and drawings to this very board. By including Eid as holiday in the school calendar, it will ensure that my sons and many other students can fully participate in their religious observances with their families without fear of missing important school activities or exams. We are part of the Orange community and look forward to working with the Board of Education to make Orange a more welcoming and inclusive place to live. The recognition of Eid as a holiday in the school calendar will not only affirm the religious freedoms, but also will contribute to students' overall well-being and sense of belonging. My sons will be able to invite his classmates to festivities, Eid family and community gatherings, parties and picnic, and many more activities. This will create an inclusive environment where they can feel valued and supported. More of our school children will come to know the meaning of Ramadan. This will create opportunities for our students to get to know and learn more about different faiths, traditions, cultures. This will create positive and cooperative interactions between people of different religions and faiths. This is a great communication opportunity, and by doing so, we can build mutual understanding, increase acceptance and tolerance, desire to serve the community, and make our hometown of Orange a safer and healthier place to live. I would like to conclude by saying this. I would pray and hope that our school district, one more time, will demonstrate its commitment to diversity, inclusion, and religious accommodation, and approve our petition today. This will represent a significant step forward in ensuring that the needs of Muslim students and families are acknowledged and respected. Thank you all.
Ali Siga from 186 Surrey Drive in Orange. You may notice that a lot of people in the crowd are Muslim. A lot of women are wearing hijabs, and I look different from them because I am. I am not Muslim. I am Jewish. So you might expect that I would not be supportive of this community, but that is absolutely not the case. Just like our community as Jews started to get holidays off back in the 80s and 90s, something that was extremely special because it made us a recognized part of the community. I think that is every bit as important for the Muslim people in our community. Now, I did try and do some research on how many people in this community are Jewish versus Muslim. The statistics I found were everything from, I believe, 1.4% Jewish up to around 11%, versus 0.5% Muslim up to 13%. Clearly, what that shows us is we have no idea how many people we have of different religions and ethnic groups in our community. This would be an excellent opportunity for us to see and be able to support our brothers and sisters who are Muslim.
My name is Adam, and I am in the 3rd grade at Peck Place School. I love my teachers in school. I am here because Eid is a special holiday for me. On Eid, my family and I pray, visit family, share meals, and my most favorite one is getting candy and gifts. It's like Christmas or Thanksgiving for us. Every year I miss school to celebrate Eid, and that makes me sad. I miss my friends and they don't get to join me. It would mean a lot if Eid was a school holiday. Then I could celebrate without missing school. Thank you for your time. It would make me very happy if you consider making Eid a special school holiday. With all my heart, Adam.
My name is Alpin Kova. Good evening, Orange Board of Education members. There are two main religious holidays my family celebrates throughout the year. These holidays are called Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. During these holidays, I go to the mosque for a special prayer in the morning where I see my friends and family members. After prayer, we go to my grandmother's house to enjoy breakfast with aunts, uncles, and cousins. I enjoy the delicious pastries and baklava that my grandmother makes. Since my grandmother is considered one of the elderly in my family, many people come by to share the holiday with our family. Later, the kids get gifts such as toys, clothes, or even money. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset without eating or drinking anything. I used to do half-day fast, but last year was especially special because I was able to complete my first full-day fast. We invite Muslims and non-Muslim families over to break our fast to share what Ramadan means to us. Last year we did an indoor scavenger hunt in our house with my friends. It was so fun to race to find the most candy and money around the house. I enjoy having Eid with my Muslim friends, but I would also like to invite my school friends to share what my holiday looks like. I want them to try my mom's baklava, but this is not possible as they are in school during my holidays. I would like to ask if you would consider having Eid as an official day off so I can share my holiday with all my friends. Thank you for listening to me.
Hello, my name is Yusuf Hassan and I live at 494 Orange Center Road. Today I come to you with similar goals as all these people, to bring this initiative up, that Eid al-Fitr to be a holiday on the district calendar. Eid al-Fitr is an extremely important holiday. It is a holiday to celebrate after 30 relentless days of Ramadan, a day that serves as a break and worship for all Muslims. Currently, Muslim students have two options on this day. Either they attend the celebrations and take their excused absences and miss school, or they go to school and miss out on the celebrations. However, an excused absence simply isn't enough, as when you miss school, you miss various things, important tests, added stress, assignments. I can relate to this, as about 2 years ago on Eid al-Fitr, I had a chemistry test that day. And even though I had an excused absence, all I could think during that day was, my test, my test, my test. As I prayed, I was thinking about my test. As I was celebrating with my friends, I was thinking about my test. I couldn't relax. I believe that we should be free of this burden. I remember I attended Racebrook School as a kid. I learned about various holidays, Yom Kippur, Good Friday, Rosh Hashanah. Through these days off, I researched about them, and I felt, why doesn't Eid al-Fitr get a day off? Why aren't we important? That's how I felt. So I believe today that we should, moving forward, similar to the districts around us, West Haven, New Haven, Fairfield, that we should get this day off. Last year, the Amity student government went through with this and fully approved this initiative, every single member, with various family members, Muslim and non-Muslim. So I ask you once again, please make Eid al-Fitr a holiday on the district calendar.
No one else? Okay, thank you all for that. I appreciate that. We're going to continue with the rest of our meeting. If you would like to... Oh, there is one more? Okay, go ahead. Just state both your names, please.
Okay. My name is Zara Rizwan, and I live on 80 Silver Manor Drive.
My name is Ramona Alcasas, and I live on 118 Cricket Lane.
Okay. Eid is a significant celebration for millions of people worldwide, marking a time of joy, reflection, and community. Having a day off for Eid will allow individuals to fully embrace our traditions, spend quality time with loved ones, and participate in religious and cultural practices without the pressure of work or school.
Recognizing Eid as a day of would also promote inclusivity and respect for diverse faiths, fostering as a great sense of unity and understanding in our communities. I think that it would be fair for Muslims to have a day off of Eid to celebrate with our friends and family. Thank you for your time.
Okay, we got 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Fadime Yılmaz. I live at 66 Ridge Road, Orange. I have 2 daughters, and my daughter loves school. And she enjoys every single activity they do at school. And every Eid, there is this dilemma she has because she's excited about something at school every single day. But we are going to celebrate Eid, and there is something fun at school. And she has always this dilemma: should I go to school? Should I join the celebrations? And she shouldn't be making a decision on this because it is her holiday, and she should be enjoying her holiday without the feeling of missing. It's not only academic things. It is the fun she has at school, or it is the socialization she's having at school with her friends. So she shouldn't be, I think, making this decision over one on another. So I strongly believe these kids deserve their holidays to be off, and just think about celebrating their holidays. Thank you.
My name is Yara, 494 Orange Center Road. Good evening, Board of Education. I agree that we should have a day off. I understand that not everyone celebrates Eid, but just as Christmas, not everyone celebrates it, but yet we still have a day off. And Thanksgiving, we have 2 days off of Thanksgiving. Not everyone celebrates it, but I think Eid is considered a holiday and that we should still have a day off. And Eid is a time that Muslims get to celebrate time with their loved ones, and we like to share our experience with Eid with our school friends, but we are unable to do that because people go to all our friends go to school, and we have the day off to go to the mosque and pray, and we worship God, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Yassine, and I also think that we should have a day off on Eid al-Fitr because while you're praying to God, and people think it's unfair, Muslims get a day off every year on Eid al-Fitr, but people think they should have a day off too because it's not fair how they're just going to celebrate, getting money, candy, and getting doing all that stuff, and they would think it's unfair.
Anyone else before we close public participation?
I haven't set up a speech or anything, but I think that our whole community is a group and all of America is a group, but we all don't celebrate the same things. When you look at it, everybody here is different in their own ways, but that doesn't change us from sitting in this room all together and looking at our differences and trying to solve them. When everybody's saying, all of my friends and everything, I don't get to celebrate with them, and I don't get to, when they have school and I get to go celebrate. We all want the same thing. We want them to celebrate with us. You have to think that all of us here, we have the same feeling of Christmas like you guys do. We get to go celebrate with our families like you guys do on your holidays. But if we would like to add one more holiday to the mix, and that's Eid al-Fitr. Everything on this holiday is like happiness, like Christmas, Easter, and, well, we celebrate Thanksgiving just like you guys. All we're all asking is that we all celebrate Eid in our own ways. I want the kids at our school to celebrate Eid too.
Excuse me. Could you just go back and state your name and your address, please, for the record at the podium? Thank you.
Zane 351 Pike Lane, Orange, Connecticut.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Mohammed, and I live on 913 Green Circle. Last year, I was a fourth grader at Racebrook School, and I had to choose between going on a field trip and celebrating. But it made me feel sad, and I didn't want to miss my field trip, so I had to miss celebrations. And all through the bus ride, I couldn't stop thinking about, oh, what are my family going to do now? Oh, they're probably praying. Oh, they're probably all having fun. And I couldn't stop myself from thinking about that. So this year, all I'm asking you guys is to let Eid be a holiday. Thank you.
Last call? We're good? Okay, thank you. We're going to continue with the rest of the meeting. If you do not want to stay, you are allowed to leave, but you are welcome to stay. So it's up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Where's Maria? I don't know. Let's stay here.
Değil mi abla?
All right. Say hi. Hi. Happy Eid. All right, that's it. Thank you, guys. Come on, let's go.
Good night.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, we will continue with our meeting now, moving on to the consent agenda. I'll need a motion to accept the first item under the consent agenda. The first item is the minutes from the October 21st, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the October 21st, 2024 Board of Education meeting? Liz? Susan? Any further discussion?
Yes. Yes, sorry, you
Oh.
have further discussion. So the statement I want to make is that for the executive session that we went into, it should say discussion of the negotiations, the agreement. It doesn't say that on there. There needs to be something stated on there that we actually discussed the contract. So we just need a line that says discussion of.
I have that, Mr. Cap.
Thank you.
Okay.
With that added.
Any other further discussions from anyone? Okay, all in favor? I can't see.
No, I gotta do it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Okay, we will move over to our superintendent's report. Dr. Scarpetti, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Cap, and good evening, everyone. This time of year brings the start of many activities and events that occur until the end of the calendar year. To begin, as all of you know, WeGo was November 11th. I want to thank all the board members that were able to attend events. We had Raceburg have an event that Friday before, Peck Place and Turkey Hill. We had a small little event here at MLT. And I just want to extend my deep thanks to also the town, who also had a Veterans Day assembly outside of High Plains. Special thanks to all the Veterans Day committee members who made the Veterans Day assemblies and tributes possible. And I think probably because of some of the statements you heard about the holiday, you know, at times I get calls with regards to having Veterans Day off too. And I think some people feel that's some people think it's being disrespectful to our veterans. And please, if anyone is feeling that, that is farthest from the truth of what we are here in Orange by not having the day off. We have it here. And if anyone has attended an event that we have at our schools, it's touching, heartfelt. Kids are here, kids are learning instead of being home. Not saying that they wouldn't not be learning about veterans, but most likely they wouldn't. So I know on occasion I get calls. I got a few this year, but just as I was listening to people speak, I want to kind of share that we're one of the districts that has Veterans Day, and I'm glad that we have it. Again, I want to honor the veterans and thank everyone who attended it and made it possible this year. Believe it or not, the first trimester ended on November 8th, and report cards will be available to parents this Friday, November 22nd. Another item that we like to share that's already been shared with parents is the winter letter advisory. So again, that's for if snow days or such, early releases or delays. I share that not to inform just the board, but also to share any parents watching home. Please take the opportunity to upload any numbers or emails in PowerSchool. Sometimes we have occasions where people say, oh, I didn't know, I didn't hear. Please take the time to upload any information now before we make a call with a winter on its way here. Lastly, we have conducted all of our safety and security meetings and lockdown drills at each of our schools. In addition, we've talked about our feasibility study. That we've received a portion of it. We haven't received all of it. It's getting to be quite a large document. I'll be reaching out to Mr. Cap about how he would want to share that with all of you once we get the entire document submitted to us. One of the thoughts I had, and again, not to throw this on you now, Mr. Cap, but one of the thoughts I had, maybe we have a special meeting where the architecture firm comes and has a conversation of what's in it, especially with the preview that I've seen. But Mr. Cap, you and I could discuss that further, and most likely I see that happening in the beginning of the year since the holidays and such. Also, with regards to this time of year, the budget process for 2025-2026 is in motion, as we've shared in the past. Information went out to all directors and building principals at the end of September. Budget requests were submitted to central office at the end of October, and follow-up meetings are currently being scheduled with me to review each school and department requests. As a friendly reminder, we have a special meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. here in this room for talking about the roles and responsibility of board members. And lastly,
It seems the holiday season comes upon us suddenly every year, and this year appears to be no exception, with next Thursday being Thanksgiving. I am incredibly thankful for many things, as I know all of you are too. And so I just wanted to extend a gratitude to all our families and all of you, and thank you for your support, and wishing you and your family a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much for that. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Scarpetti? No? Okay.
Oh, I guess I have
Oh,
one quick
sure.
question. Speaking of holidays, I know by the time our December meeting comes along, most of any school concerts and whatnot will probably have happened or will be in the process of happening. So I would ask that you could send out that information to board members when it's available.
Absolutely, Mrs. Hadlock.
Thank you. Let's move over to Mr. Gray.
Good evening, everyone. I'll begin with a follow-up on grants. We have 4 active grants at this time. As of the end of October, the first grant is ARPA Summer Mental Health Supports Grant. This is a 3-year grant. We are currently in year 2. It's a delivery of mental health services to summer school students. First 2 years are $50,000. The last year is $35,000. So far this year, we've spent about $36,000 of the 50, and we have about $13,600 left for that grant. We also have the school security grant that was used to fund the replacement of exterior cameras at each of our buildings and the switches and servers that go along with them. That was quite a sizable amount of money. The grant was reimbursing us at a rate of $61,000. We finished the project, so we've begun requesting reimbursement of those monies. We hope to see those monies sometime early 2025. The next grant is the Primary Mental Health Grant. This is our K-3 Early Detection Intervention Program for emotional, behavioral, and learning problems. This grant is a $20,000 grant. So far, we spent about $3,600, and we have about $16,000 remaining. And finally, our ARPA School Mental Health Specialist Grant. We're in year 2 of a 3-year grant. This is a position funded through this grant for a social worker, and the first 2 years are funded at 100%. The third year is, I believe, 75%. So next year's budget, we will be putting a small amount into the budget for this position, and then in year 4, decide whether or not to fund it entirely in our budget. One grant I do want to make you aware of, I've mentioned in the past, this grant is on hold currently. It's the ARPA Online Abuse Prevention Grant. This is the grant we were using in collaboration with the Orange Police Department. It's a $30,000 grant. We were awarded this grant back in the spring. We've spent $16,000 of this grant, and then we were notified that there was no money for this grant from the state. We've been in contact with them, going back and forth. We just received another notice saying that it's looking like it's pretty probable that there will not be any money left over from ARP ESSER. They thought there might be some left over, but it's looking like there won't be. So we're not done pursuing this yet because we have spent part of this grant and we were awarded the money. So we're going to continue to track this down. But I wanted you to be aware that that is on hold. Under food services, letters went out in September to all families that had either an approved application or were directly certified by the state of Connecticut for free and reduced lunch. Families that were certified in the prior year, but did not get were not yet certified for this year for free and reduced lunch, were eligible for 30 days after the school year started. If, however, these families did not become certified this year, then they would not be getting the free and reduced lunch benefits. Those were discontinued for those families on October 7th. If any family feels they have the need and that they may qualify, they are urged to go to our website and go to the elementary schools food services tab, and the updated forms are there to apply. My apologies, that 3-year grant for the social worker is 100%, 100%, 70%, not 75%. Thank you, Mrs. Ito. As Dr. Scarpetti mentioned earlier, we're currently consolidating the budgets from our department heads, and we'll be scheduling meetings in the coming weeks to go over their budget requests. And finally, the audit, an update here. The auditors are well into their work on the 2023-24 audit. They will complete an independent accountant's review process utilizing the agreed-upon procedures of certain EFS, which is the educational funding expenditure data. The deadline for this portion has historically been December 31st. By statute, it's been extended to January 31st, but we're going to continue operating under the assumption that it's completed December 31st. And that completes the finance portion of my report.
Go ahead, Ken.
When my parents used to say, "We'll see," it meant no, but not today. That seems like that's what it's going to be with that grant. If that's the case, it's going to have, we're going to have to make that up, that $15,000?
We would, it would have to fall into our budget.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, the operations portion of the budget, of the report. Winter preparations, as Dr. Scarpetti said, the letter was sent out for inclement weather, so we're getting ready on our end. As we get to the colder months of the year, we're currently conducting our annual maintenance preparations so that we're prepared for any inclement weather. This usually includes attaching the plow frames to the trucks, checking the operation of the electronics and the hydraulics so we're not caught off guard. We place plow sticks along our driveways so that our curbs stay intact. Check the operation of all of our snow blowers, and we also purchase ice melt for each of the schools, so those are underway as we speak. The capital planning process, the process for requesting capital funding through the town has changed this year. In the past, the 5-year capital plan from the board were usually due in early November, and then an ad hoc committee run by Mr. Okenquist would meet several times to discuss requests from town departments, and then those items were prioritized and sent to the Board of Finance. This year, the plans are going to be due in early December, about a month later, and will be presented to the Board of Finance sometime in February. Items on the Board of Education 5-year capital plan include items that were not funded last year, of course, such as a generator here at MLT, a media center refurbishment, a media center furniture refurbishment at Peck Place School, as well as some additional items. And this information will be shared with you in the next board update. I'll include the spreadsheet that has those items, but just so you know, there's a link in the 5-year plan for facilities, the long-range plan, which is something that we go over at Buildings and Grounds, and it's been shared in the board update. There's also a link in there for capital improvement, so it's there as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Does anyone have questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? Okay. Dr. Russo, please.
Good evening. I'd like to start by sharing some effects of our professional learning session on Election Day. The details are linked to the professional learning calendar and also to the last board update, but highlights include that our 3rd through 6th grade teachers had the opportunity to work with their school math specialists to review our available math resources, real-world context for math units, student data, and math connections to our language comprehension goal, specifically vocabulary and how to process word problems. All teachers had the opportunity to score writing samples, compare September, beginning of year baseline samples with November samples, and plan next steps for writing. Grade 1 and 2 teachers had the opportunity to participate in their foundational language comprehension session, which focused on connecting elements of narrative to informational text, to process the social studies read-alouds that were new, and to select information for increasing background knowledge related to the decodable text. Kindergarten teachers had an opportunity to focus on unpacking a new science unit from the Smithsonian, the weather kit, and also to process all the read-alouds for their social studies curriculum. Specialists had an opportunity to work on their storyboards, and those are really coming together. All grade levels at all schools have now completed their first foundational language comprehension sessions. And now the next phase of the work is to really implement what we've learned in those sessions into our lessons. Tomorrow, we have Curriculum Wednesday. Grades 1 to 2 are going to continue that work that we started on Election Day, really for application purposes. And grades 3 through 6 are going to review their IABs, which stand for Interim Assessment Blocks, that are linked to the Smarter Balance assessments. It's also important to note that our schools all engaged in math days, and the theme for that was grit. We've linked images of that day on the board update. And we love with all the language comprehension work that the math specialists were very clever in word consciousness and even inventing words that make sense with English structure rules, like gritters. There's no such word as gritters, but I love that they doubled the T to preserve the sound so they wouldn't be griters. And when you think about farmers, adding the ER morpheme at the end, those who farm, so gritters are those who have grit. And that was specifically aligned to math practices, like making sense of problems and persevering in solving them. They also identified a golden tool, the Cuisenaire rods. And Dr. Scarpetti, do you want to talk about the links between the portrait of a graduate and
I can, when Dr. Russo was sharing what she was going to share with the board this evening, there's elements that making connections, just like Mr. Gray did with regards to our long-range plans. Again, anyone watching at home, they're on our website. You're more than welcome to look at them. For all of you, we say it in the beginning of the year, middle and end of the year, our goals and how it intertwines. And when Dr. Russo was sharing with what she was putting together for this evening, she was making connections how, and for some of you that attended the convocation, I talked about grit. And so they thought that was a cool theme to continue through. But we talk about what standards we want to raise for our students. And so we talked about the portrait of the graduate. Now, I'm not going to call a board member to share what they are, but, off the top of my head, you're talking about a problem solver, a planner, a collaborator, and a communicator. For those board members that came on Math Day, that's what students were doing. They do that every day. So, it's an element of kind of pointing that out to our students and showing that's what we want them to do when they leave the school system, no matter AMNY or another school system, but when they leave here and go to middle school and high school, embedding those skill sets in them. So she's putting me on the spot, but I was just saying it's kind of cool of seeing that in action. So is that the end of your report?
That's the end of the curriculum report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a
Yeah, go
question. I think I saw in the notes that there was going to be either resources or a night that there were going to be options for parents to learn the vocabulary that's used. Is there a date for that yet?
We don't have the dates yet, but we are working on that. You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Okay, let's move over to Mrs. Ito, please.
Good evening. As Dr. Russo shared, on November 5th, staff engaged in multiple opportunities for professional growth. As you know, the district has had an increased focus on developing students' language comprehension skills. Staff already are proficient with using selected tools for talking about and understanding stories. We would like to highlight this evening a particular training which was provided our preschool and selected special education teachers, the opportunity to use the tools in play centers to increase their skills to be more effective communicative partners. Staff rotated through a variety of play-based centers such as a kitchen, doll center, blocks, and a transportation center. They practice using manipulatives in these centers to strengthen methods that are designed to increase children's oral language while engaging in play. We feel this is important work with our youngest learners, as oral language skills has a significant impact on overall language development. In addition, as a reminder, each year, the Orange Elementary School System invites families to sign up for our preschool lottery. Families will be able to call the Special Services Department in December for the 25-26 school year. As a reminder, our special education, general education integrated preschool will be looking for 3- and 4-year-olds to enroll as community peers and positive role models. Children must be 3 or 4 by September 1 to be in alignment with Connecticut statute for the kindergarten start date. This program enriches each child's social, emotional, physical, cognitive, intellectual, and creative abilities through early academic and social experiences. It is designed to prepare children for early success and school readiness. By law, students with special needs identified with an IEP or individual education plan are placed in the preschool program by the Department of Special Services through the planning and placement team process and do not participate in the lottery. Lottery sign-up information will be communicated via our website with a pop-up, our Orange Town News publication in the December issue, and school newsletters. Families who wish to have their children participate in the lottery will call the Special Services Department at 203-891-8023 between December 2nd and Wednesday, January 29th by 4 o'clock that evening. At that time, the lottery closes, and we will be starting our drawing process after that for selection. That concludes my report.
Thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Okay, we will move over to board business. First item under board business is the possible discussion on the 2025-2026 draft Orange Board of Education school calendar. Dr. Scarpetti, would you like to give a little
Unless
info on
anyone
that?
has any questions, again, just as a friendly reminder, we proposed a draft to all of you in November, and we vote in December like we've done in past years. This gives you plenty of time to pose questions, reach out to myself or Mr. Cap. Just some highlights for this calendar that's in front of you in light of the public participation. On March 20th, we have that day off anyways for professional learning. So it's not for the Eid holiday, it is for the professional learning, but of course, students will be off of school that day, staff will be. Some other questions I received, Mr. Cap, is do we know how many students that are of the Muslim faith in our district? I can't say for certain, but probably with some bit of confidence, it's about 3.5%. And the way we looked at that is that we looked on past days when Eid was celebrated and saw the amount of students and kind of compared that and did that. So it's about 45 students right now that we believe, again, we may be off, so if you want to throw another percent. I know conversations that have come up in other districts. Diwali, it's even less than 1% of our population that are Hindu. I know last year when these conversations came up, there was a survey that was submitted to a lot of districts. I think only 86 responded. And at that time, and I know it's changed as some participants shared, or if any of you did your own research, it's about 88% that do not have the day off. Now, this was last year, so that may have changed. There's not a new data that has been given to me, but I know some questions I received just to share it with you, just as long as, you know, it's for discussion right now. But I know those are some of the questions I received by receiving phone calls, Mr. Cap, and I thought I would share it with the rest of the group if they had the same questions. But again, pointed out that, again, March 20th, we already have it off, and that's because of professional learning, and that's purely coincidental. And again, it wasn't intentional for Eid, it was intentional for the professional learning that we have every March. About 3.5%, and again, if we want to say that our calculations may be off, 4.5% of our population celebrate Eid, which is about 45, maybe 50 students out of our, I think, 1,200 and say 1,200 students, it's over that. But again, Mr. Capps, those are some of the questions I received, but want to share it with the entire board with regards to the calendar, but happy to address any other questions that the board may have, or again, discussion amongst yourselves.
Okay. Ken?
Well, I think based on this evening, at the very least, Eid should be at least mentioned in the calendar. whether we acknowledge it as a holiday or not. It should at least be mentioned, I think.
So, Mr. Ziman, thank you for bringing that up. One of the districts that, since receiving some letters and emails, and I have it here, but this was for last year of something that I want to share with Mr. Cap, but, and again, I know you can't see it, so it's not fair, but they do just that. They have the regular calendar, and then they have a list of all the holidays. And so there's about 37 religious holidays that are celebrated for the year. And they kind of specifically say that all of these holidays are recognized but may not have the day off. And those are 37 religious holidays, and of course, there's additional federal holidays that are on there that, again, Veterans Day is a federal holiday. Some school districts have it off, some do not. But thank you for bringing it up, because that was a thought that no matter what the board decides to do, to have this anyways, because there are other students that attend our district that celebrate and are a different religion than the ones that have it off, that we would like to acknowledge and honor them too.
Any other, oh, Betty, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Simon, for mentioning that. I was, I guess, distressed when I heard one student say that she had to choose between going on a field trip and coming to school. And I think that sensitivity is something that should definitely be part of the school district's initiative, and by having holidays listed, that will make teachers and staff aware of the fact that some students have other things going on those days. There shouldn't be tests, there shouldn't be things like that, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%, Mrs. Hadlock. That's a note that I have that I'm going to be following up first thing in the morning. That shouldn't have occurred. Even beyond that is, forget about not having tests, arranging it, what is going on those days, you know? So, you know, and I know some people, because again, conversations are occurring in the district, that some students attend and then they may leave early because for the events that may be occurring, but I did make a note of that too, Mrs. Hadlock, and I will be looking into that.
Yeah, very good point. Ronette?
I do want to note that I think it's really important that we follow suit with what the other BOA districts are doing. I am, based on our calendar that we voted on last year, I got a lot of feedback from parents who have students in the Amity district or work in either Woodbridge or Bethany, and the February break became an issue. I would hate to see other BOA districts giving this day and us just recognizing it in a list. I know that last year we had been approached by some of the student groups at Amity High School asking us to recognize it. I don't know what Amity did with that as far as their calendar is concerned, but I do want to stress that I think we should keep our calendar aligned with the other BOA calendars as much as possible.
Okay, thank you.
And just to inform the board, I know, I believe Ms. James was addressing the board with regarding her thoughts, but Amity is talking about having Eid off as a holiday. I don't think they did it last year, but I think they are. It's a topic of discussion for their calendar this year, along with the February break.
Do we know when they are voting on their calendars so we can make a decision? Because last time we kind of got stuck being the first to make a choice, and we weren't in alignment with the other districts.
So it was, I think the other way, we were the last who made the choice.
No.
Yes, I believe so. I think Woodbridge and Orange were the last two, and that was the same night. I could look, I could be wrong, but that said, I would have to look at their, but again, they follow the same suit of sharing it in November and voting in December. But I don't, off the top of my head, Ms. Tremper, I don't know what date their board meeting is, but I could look that up.
I do agree that I felt, I had a lot of conversations with the community that they were unhappy that we were not all in alignment. I know we've had speakers here since who came to talk about the February break. And since I have the microphone, I do want to say that I also feel that including Eid as a holiday instead of a professional development, personally, I feel like that would honor what the people were saying tonight, rather than, I mean, if the idea is to celebrate it as a holiday and make everyone feel inclusive, that should include teachers and staff members as well.
Okay. Thanks, Liz. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we all recognize that there has been a shift in our communities. And, you know, the woman that spoke tonight from the Jewish community said that we adopted it into our calendar back in the 80s or 90s. That came from exactly this, a community group wanting their holiday recognized. It has become the norm. And I think that it's important for those community members, clearly a growing group in our community, to feel that inclusivity and that equity as far as being able to celebrate without worrying that they're going to miss out on even the social aspect of school for the day.
So I concur with the idea that we should consider Eid. And I know, as others have heard, is that the whole February vacation, having been only a few days, has been a bone of contention from parents, from people who work in one district or the other. And so I think it's harder for our communities when we're not in line. Now, I think personally, I like to be able to make our decisions on our calendar. However, when we have a feeder, Amity Middle School, Amity High School, it makes it a lot harder for all of us if we're not in alignment. So I'm struggling with voting yes on this calendar right now. And I think I voted no last year too. So I'm just saying.
Well, I just want to remind, if I may, people are looking at me, which is fine, but this is a board's decision, and it
Yeah.
was last year too.
Yep.
And again, it's important to go over the roles and responsibilities, which is Thursday. There's a few things that the board members are elected to do, and this is the calendar. And so you had a whole entire month to discuss this. I go by your doing and what you're saying. And so, you know, through all of you, to Mr. Cap, to me, I just give the information. And this is something that, unfortunately, like again, with what Amity decided, I think the February break had to relate to seniors, and that was a discussion, you know, that all of you had. So I don't mind all of you looking at me and discussing, and you know, if this is something that we want to continue. And again, as a reminder, it's not voting on it tonight, about having a difficult time voting on it tonight. It's not a vote for this evening. It's for next month. And you know, I'll go by the direction of the entire board. Of what you want me to do. You want me to arrange differently? You want me to add holidays? You want me to add Three Kings Day? You want me to add Diwali, which other districts have done? Please let me know that. I'll be more than happy to do what this board has control over. So be more than happy to do that.
I'm just going to say the only reason why I was looking at you is because there's nobody else here.
No, and I'm fine, but I just want to say, because, you know, the time passes, but this was a discussion that we had with certain things even last year. And again, as many board members has shared, things are changing. And I just want to relay the information that I have about how many students and such. You know, was it larger populations of Jewish, Christians? I can't say of how the calendar was first developed. But please, I do by the doing of all of you and what you would prefer to do that. Again, I know some parents like that we didn't have the February because we got out early and they had a great summer. But again, this is something that I believe, I think all of you know, and myself and my cabinet, we sit in a chair. We're not going to make everyone happy, no matter what decisions we make. So, but more than happy to show a different calendar next month, or even use the same one and just say direct and have during a motion and discussing this and changing it at your will. So
Would you be able to get a hold of the drafts from the other districts. I mean, I just pulled up Bethany's meeting, which I think might even be, oh, that was.
Woodbridge is tonight, I think,
It was
I don't
last,
know.
Bethany's was last week. It says discussion on the calendar, but it doesn't link a draft.
Okay.
I don't know if we could see, you know, just so we are in line. I mean, I just don't want to have what happened last year happen again.
So right now, just so you're aware, Bethany, Woodbridge, and Amity have that full February break off. Woodbridge, Bethany, and Orange have the 20th off because we planned the professional day that day. And again, if someone wants to share that they feel that the faculty should have off too, that's something that has to be a discussion because again, there's contracts that we have to abide by of how many days that teachers have versus students. So again, there may be a ripple effect, but nothing that we can't look at and take care of. But I don't know what the decision is, Ms. James, but I know that Ede was on the topic of Amity. But as far as Woodbridge and Bethany, it wasn't at this point. But I also know that I believe they're also talking about Diwali and the lunar calendar too, for the Chinese New Year. So there may be 3 additional days. So if that's something that this board wants me to do, I'll be more than happy to look at that too.
Is there a way to get that demographic information?
It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we don't ask what religion you are, right? And so I was trying to be creative, trying to find out at least the Muslim. I said, okay, so, all right, let's look at when the past few years Eid occurred and kind of see what people were out, students were out. To the question regarding staff, I believe there's 2 staff that possibly, again, when I talk staff, that could be an aide, a paraeducator, a teacher. We believe there's 2 of our faculty and staff that celebrate. So again, I go by whatever you want me to look or research within a month. Be happy to share that and have a conversation with Mr. Cap in between.
Any other discussion? Okay, thank you.
Sure.
We will move over to board business item number 2, policy second read, Orange Board of Ed, policy 4134, personnel certified tutoring. Do I have a motion to accept the Orange Board of Ed policy 4134, certified tutoring? Liz? Betty? Do I have a second? No, Betty, second, I'm sorry. Discussion. Thank you. No discussion? All in favor? I'll let you do the vote. Unanimous? Okay, unanimous, thank you. Policy second read, Orange Board of Ed, policy 6162.3, instruction testing program. Do I have a motion to accept the Orange Board of Ed policy 6162.3, instruction testing program? Ken, second. Anthony, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous again, thank you. And policy second read, Orange Board of Education policy 6180, evaluation of district programs and strategic plan. Do I have a motion to accept Orange Board of Ed policy 6180, evaluation of district programs and strategic plan? Ronette, second. Tatiano, any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous again, okay. These next policies will be the second reads at our next Board of Ed meeting in December, which is policy first read, Orange Board of Ed policy 5145.2, freedom of speech. Policy first read, Orange Board of Ed policy 6000, instruction, concept, and roles in instruction. Policy first read, Orange Board of Ed policy 6010, instruction, goals, and objectives. And moving over to our standing committees. Susan for Finance.
The Finance Subcommittee met prior to this meeting. Thank you for Amanda to have joined our committee temporarily. And I'm always happy to have Anthony. We reviewed the financials, all are in order. We're operating within our budget. We did discuss the cafeteria update. Numbers are higher than they have been, which is great, which means people must like what we're giving them. And we also had a grants update that Mr. Gray has already discussed. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Hadlock, Personnel Policy Transportation.
Thank you. Our committee tried to meet at the end of October, but due to lack of a quorum, we were unable to have an official meeting. Instead of that, Dr. Scarpetti and I met to review policies in need of a little review, some slight tweaking, and mostly adoption dates. It's really important that our committee gets to meet again because we will not be meeting after the December meeting, and we have not met now since September. Traditionally, we have met on the last Monday of the month. That's when committee meetings have been held. I understand this month we have another meeting this week. Next week is Thanksgiving, so I am going to see if it's possible for us to meet on Monday, December 2nd, to have a committee meeting in that time. So think about that, people on the Policy and Personnel and Transportation Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Oh, and again, if you have any questions about these policies that are up for second read, do not hesitate to contact me or Dr. Scarpetti.
Thank you for that. Moving over to Buildings and Grounds, I have officially handed the torch over to Anthony, who will be the chair for Buildings and Grounds. I'm assuming you do not have a report this month for us since you did not meet, correct? Okay. But I'm sure you will get with Dr. Scarpetti and schedule a meeting for down the road. So thank you, Anthony, for that. Mr. Zyman, you are up.
I hope you were paying attention to Mrs. Hadlock because it's regarding the committee meeting. It's the same thing. We will be meeting, we think, on December 2nd.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zyman. ACES report.
Okay, ACES met last Thursday, November 14th. We had a services overview, and I will send the packet that talks about some of the services. I guess I'll send it this way because there's a few more people, and then I'll go the other direction. One of the professionals, Kevin Keating, presented to us about some of the services that ACES provides, such as translation services, special ed transportation, BCBA, thank you. My letters were getting mixed up in my head. But there's probably about 40 services that we provide to our districts because somebody's asked for them. They're usually pain points, and that's how we ultimately get to do something. And if Orange needs something, we should raise our hand and let them know. We'll do others. We also have a preschool. We have international work that we're doing. So there's a lot of things that are in there. Some of it is not exactly at the level I was hoping for, but it was interesting to hear him talk to details on some of the special ed services, like devices. Like if we have a student who needs a specific device, some of the ones ACES is stocking because many of the district need them. So some of the adaptive technology, which was interesting. So we are still continuing to sell a couple of properties. We're still in discussions. I'll let you know as it gets closer. We did approve the ACES school calendar. We did approve the tuition rates for the 25-26 school year. We did approve the salary and benefits for non-bargaining employees, and that's it. Oh, and next month at ACES is our December meeting. And those of you who have been on the board for a while know that December is our favorite meeting because the students actually do the artwork. It goes on a t-shirt, it goes on bags, it goes on Christmas cards or holiday cards. And so if you are interested, last year they gave us one for everybody at the board, so if everybody would like them, just let me know. I'll send a note out, you can reply back yes or no, because they're like a little survey if you want them. So, that's it.
Okay, any questions on that? No? Okay,
No,
and,
I just have one quick question.
Sure.
I'm just trying to refresh my own understanding. I know ACES has all these services, but every district would pay for the services. Or do we pay into, I mean, we don't pay into ACES a fee for the year.
No.
But if we want some of these services, the district would be paying for them.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it almost sounded like, you know, here's the services, if you need them, just
It's-
call them and they give them to you, but,
Well, they don't get, they can provide them, yes. So some of them are free services, but most of them are paid services,
Right.
yes.
okay,
So,
thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
yes. The one thing I didn't mention was that we are on track for 88 Bassett, which is a special ed school. It used to be the Gateway property in North Haven, and that is on track to be, we're going to start moving in at the end of this school year, so that's kind of a big thing. So all of the special ed schools, not all of, but 4 of them will be coming together, focusing on some of the autism spectrum, and that will be going to 88 Bassett, so we're excited about that. More to come.
any other questions? No? All right, I would like to say happy Thanksgiving to all the families that are out there watching us. And one of the traditions that we always do at at Thanksgiving is always to say something that you're thankful for. I am thankful for this entire board. We have one really good board here. Every member here deserves that. And our administrative staff is awesome. So thank you, and thank you all. So, do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? Susan, second. Ken, all in favor? Because I'm sure we don't have a discussion.
Yep.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Meeting is closed at 8:15. Thank you.